Hello and welcome to Match Week 9 predictions for the Premier League. We've got some interesting games, including the Merseyside derby to predict. Let's go. Before we do, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, comment your thoughts in the comments. Now let's go. The first game to predict is, of course, the Merseyside derby at Anfield on the Saturday, the early kick-off, Liverpool versus Everton. In this one, I'm going to back the hosts for a 2-0 win against Everton. Plainly because they're the more consistent side, so when doing predictions, I'm backing them for that reason. However, in a derby, anything can happen, but I do think at home, with that Anfield crowd, they'll get the win. Bournemouth versus Wolves next up, and of course Gary O'Neill returning back to the side he kept up last season, then got sacked by in the summer. He's now at Wolves, returning to the vitality. In this one, I think he gets the win. 1-0 to Wolves in this one. Brentford versus Burnley next up. Now, Brentford, of course, haven't started the season well at all. Burnley have got their first win of the season. However, they haven't been convincing, really, so far this season like we thought they would be. In this one, I'm backing the Bees for a 1-0 home victory. Man City host Brighton next up. This one's going to be an interesting encounter, two top sides. In this one though, it's hard to back against them. I've got to back Man City, 3-0 at the Etihad. Newcastle versus Crystal Palace next. Now Newcastle are flying. Crystal Palace, of course, they're a tricky team to predict at the minute. Of course, they got that draw before the international break against Nottingham Forest. I think it was a 0-0. That one. In this one, I can't see him scoring again. Newcastle for the 3 points. 2-0 at St James's Park. Nottingham Forest hosts Luton Town next. Luton proving to everyone they're not going to be a walkover this season. And at the City Ground, it's a very tough place to go. An incredible atmosphere is generated there by those passionate Forest fans. In this one, I think they'll get a goal, but they'll fall to defeat to Nottingham Forest, 2-1 to the Reds. Next up is a big game in London. Chelsea taking on Arsenal. It's always one you look out for. Not a main one, but you know, it's always a good game between these two sides. In this one, I am backing Arsenal for a 3-1 victory. Chelsea still trying to find their feet. It was a fantastic win against Burnley before the international break. 4-1, wasn't it, in the end against Burnley. They're scoring goals and putting the performances in. Now you just need to get the consistency going. Against Arsenal, they're a top side. I think this is one that can, you know, be seen as a tricky one. But of course, Chelsea, big club, these are the levels they want to get up to. Don't think it'll happen just yet. Arsenal for the 3 points here. Sheffield United host Manchester United next up. And if I'm being honest, there's only one winner. Manchester United, 4-0. Yes, they haven't been great so far this season, but it's Man United we're talking about. They can pop up with an incredible performance 1 week, the next week they can be awful. Sheffield United this season, there's no getting around it. They have been awful. So that's why I think Man United will get the win. And I think a big performance will be seen here. The Battle of the Claret and Blues next. Aston Villa versus West Ham. Burnley will be watching on for this one. In this one, two top sides who will be battling for a place in Europe, I imagine, come the end of the season. Can't separate them. At Villa Park, 1-1 in this one. And the final game to predict is on the Monday. Spurs taking on Fulham at, of course, that incredible stadium. I've got to back Spurs. Ange Postecoglou is doing an incredible job at the moment. Defensively, solid. Going forward, I do think a few tweaks could be made to allow him to score a few more goals. That's just my opinion. But Spurs fans seem to be really happy with him at the moment. You can't argue with that. In this one, Spurs to win 2-1. Well then guys, hopefully you have all enjoyed that video. If you have, drop a like and subscribe as always. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll see you in the next one very soon guys. Take care. Goodbye.